Right, welcome back everybody. Let's get into our regular features now. So, question of the day up first.
Yeah, let's take a look. So this is what we're asking you to engage us on this morning. What do you make of President Cyril Ramaphosa's decision to deploy more than 800 soldiers to help the police in fighting the construction mafia and illegal miners? So this is one that I know many South Africans have quite a lot to say about. So please engage us at Morning Live SABC. That's where you can send your X's. That's also the handle for Facebook.
Yeah, and also in the third hour of the program, that's going to be the subject of discussion is about this construction.
Dr. Chris de Kock will be speaking to us about that. But of course, you can also send us a WhatsApp voice note. There's the number for you, 078-459-1897. Short, sharp, to the point, and preferably in a quiet space.
All right, so let's get into your trending topics now and taking a look at just a couple of them. There's a lot of trending topics, but these ones were what we were looking at when we arrived this morning. Bongi, and this is all about Bongani Ngubane, still the whole story, but he's broken his silence. He's spoken about it now, and he's saying, this is what he's had to say. He says, I think it's a very sad thing when you live in a first world country like England and you think the rest of the world speaks English. This is what Ngubane told BBC Sports. It was unprofessional on their part. They could have gone on a website and looked for an English dictionary and looked for the word in Afrikaans. People understood in South Africa, but obviously their side misunderstood. He added, I have never racially sworn at him. So, yeah, that's Ngubane breaking his silence, and people still weighing in on that. But I think the issue is probably closed at this point in time. But I suppose he really wanted to. But he just felt that, they were very unprofessional in how they handled it. That was Bongi's
Absolutely.
response.
But of course, those who believe the other side, of course, also continue to hold on to their truth, as it were. It was very funny. Someone on X, Tom Courtney, said, so Tom Curry in the middle of the game must go, stop the clock, sir. I just need to Google Translate for a second. So it's actually quite funny. At this point, we don't care. We won.
We won. It
doesn't matter.
It should be over, but who knows? But I suppose Bongi having his say and having his voice put out there as well. All right, so that's Bongi and Ngubane, everyone weighing in on it. So next trending topic, what have we got there? We've got, I think it's
Centurion.
Did you see the picture? Again, even you said it, like every time it rains.
Centurion's going to trend because of the flooding situation. And some of the videos. But my question is, when are we going to do something about it? Because evidently there's something wrong, and some relief needs to be brought to bear in Centurion. Because every time it rains, for some reason, Centurion floods. Whether they're on a floodplain, I have no idea. Maybe Azmi should come and tell us, or whether it's just poorly, how do you call it? Poor drainage systems, but also just poor planning in terms of how the place is actually constructed around whatever water systems there. I don't know. I don't know.
But it is every time. It seems to be the problem. So Centurion and the surrounding areas just really having major problems when it rains and then the flooding happens. Okay.
And one's heart goes out to people who live there. It's just like the Yukskay River and people living on the banks of the river. Every time you have this type of rain, the river will obviously break its banks and it will flood, and the people living there are going to suffer, and that situation has recurred as well.
Yeah, all right, so that's the Centurion trend. Let's move on to the next one, and that of course is Naledi Pandor. We've got her in our news, and we were talking to the fact that they want Benjamin Netanyahu to be hauled before the International Criminal Court. That was what Naledi Pandor has had to say. She's been quite harsh in her analysis of all of this. And I'm just reading a couple of the responses that have come up. In fact, the first one I see is coming from Richard Calland. He's just going ahead and saying, superb speech, as I keep saying, even though integrity in public life and excellence in Parliament have diminished greatly over the past decade or more, there remain islands of integrity and excellence, both institutions and individuals, like Naledi Pandor. So it seems like she's being very, from certain people, hailed for what she's having to say. But this was a closing statement that Minister Naledi Pandor had with regard to Israel, and after, this was what she was talking about, and she was very scathing in terms of how the Palestinians and what is happening in Gaza and how they're being treated there. Just saying that Palestinians are denied the right to exist as human beings.
And of course, calling on the International Criminal Court to issue an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, among other things. So that's why Naledi Pandor is trending. Moving on to the final one, which is, of course, Ipid. And Ipid, so police, this is, of course, the police watchdog, and they are concerned about the high number of suspected criminals who've been killed by police. And this has started a conversation on the social media pages because obviously some people would say, well, the police have every right to protect themselves. So it would be interesting to actually pull back the layers to understand exactly what Ipid's concern is, whether there are specific incidents that drive this concern. I think I'd want to hear more from them.
It would be interesting.
This.
I mean, the one that's being quoted is they're saying that in the past 30 days, police in KZN have killed 19 people in 7 separate shootouts. That was the one that they were highlighting, just one of them.
Hence I say I would like to speak to them because when you say a shootout,
what was happening? And the circumstances.
But what do you expect the police to do? If they encounter fire, again, you know, what do you expect the men and women in blue to do? Yesterday, the Minister of Transport and her protectors,
I saw that,
were held at gunpoint, pistols taken on the N3 between Vosloorus and Heidelberg, right here in Joburg on the N3. What's supposed to happen?
I know. I mean, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, this is just, it's madness. But we'd love to hear from you. I mean, if you want to comment on that one as well. It's actually a very interesting story to speak to in terms of...
Maybe we should invite Ipid to come and tell us what their concerns are precisely.
I do. I think that would be fantastic. All right.